Are you brand new to vacuum sealing and just don't know how to get started? Today, we're going to talk about all the basics of how to vacuum seal. Good morning, everybody. My name is Deb, and I am from Just Do Something Homestead, and today we're going to learn all about vacuum sealing. It doesn't matter if I raise it myself or if I'm buying it from the store. I love to vacuum seal to preserve my foods. The problem is there's so many different types of vacuum sealers. There's the handheld ones, there's the mason jar ones, and there's the old standbys. I truly feel like a broken record because I am always singing the praises of my FoodSaver. This is the FoodSaver FM5200, and I have never, ever had a problem with it. I've never had a false seal. I have had things sealed for 11 years without any issues whatsoever. I love my FoodSaver. But I've heard a lot of people say their FoodSaver is not reliable. They've gone through several of them and they'll never buy another. And I'm like, then you're not buying a top quality FoodSaver. This FoodSaver was about $200 11 years ago. I purchased it specifically because it had a port so that I could do my jars. And that is where I do the bulk of my vacuum sealing, is in mason jars. And as I was researching other models of FoodSavers, I found out that it seemed like the newer ones just weren't up to par. But all is not lost. The problem is there are FoodSavers out there for $40, and of course they are not going to be of the quality of a $200 machine. That led me in search of a brand new FoodSaver. Honestly, the reason was, if anything happens to my beloved 5200, I just don't know what I will do. So I went on Amazon, started digging around, and I found this one, and it is FM 5460. Interesting. Although this one was normally over 200, it was on sale. I think it was about 130, and so I put that puppy dog in my cart before you could blink your eyes. Today, I am going to open that up. I am going to compare it, and this is going to be a beginner's vacuum sealing video. So pretend that this just came in the mail today and you have no idea what to do. Let's start by opening it up. So far, so good. It looks like it's packaged very well in here. There are some things I'm not even sure what they are. That's something new. Oh my goodness. For years, I have said that the only thing I did not care about with my FoodSaver is they didn't have the attachments to do jars. Look at this. That is one of the attachments. Woo! It is well packaged. I like that. Let's see what we have in here. The new one looks very similar to my other one. Now, if you watch some of my older videos, you would have seen these stickers because I didn't know you were supposed to just take them right off. This new one came with rolls and all sizes of bags. That's pretty cool. I think I'm going to like this. Now, I remember when I first got it, I was so confused by this thing. What in the world is it, and how am I supposed to stick this on a jar? The first step is to pull until this cord comes out. Now, I keep mine out. I don't retract it, but I keep it out at all times. Next, you're going to pull this plastic piece off. And the first time I did it, I was sure I was breaking it because it is on there solid. So give it a good yank. This piece is a reservoir accessory, and that is to be used if you marinate. And I hate to admit this, but I have never marinated anything in my life, so I never use this piece. I pulled mine off of the other one and stored it away just in case. That leads you with this piece right here, which is exactly the same piece that I have been using on my old one. Well, my enthusiasm for this attachment hasn't lasted real long. This is a regular size, and that is fine. But for me, I typically vacuum seal wide mouth, and so I need the large one. And they only include the regular one, so you may have to put in an order online with Amazon. They actually come in a set of 2. I think it was less than $10. It's the simple things that get me excited. This cord is about twice as long. Oh my goodness. I had such issues when I had it over here on my counter. I always had to have a strip to plug it into because I can't reach my outlet from over here on the island. So this is going to be so nice. All right, I looked this up. Interesting. This is so that you can reseal things that have a narrow neck. So I could take this, put it on the top of the jar, and then hook it up, and it'll remove the air from these. Something new. Other than that, the controls are nearly identical to my old one, and so we are going to jump in all the basics of how to vacuum seal. If you have stuck with me up until this point, congratulations, and thank you for joining me. We're going to talk about what can be vacuum sealed. Shelf-stable foods are exactly like they sound like. They are something that you would purchase at a grocery store and bring home and put on your shelf or in your pantry. They are typically in a box. They could be baking ingredients like flour or sugar. They can be snack foods such as pumpkin seeds, baking mixes, basically anything that is in a box. And some of the advantages of vacuum sealing. First off, if you put it in a jar like this, I put these in my pantry. I can see exactly what I have in stock and where the gaps are, so I know what to purchase the next time I'm out. It also keeps critters out, whether they are mice. They cannot chew through a metal lid and a glass jar. And it keeps out moths. Moths are often in things like flour and rice. But when you remove the air, you remove the possibility of anything living in your jar. The most common size I use is a half-gallon canning jar. I find that I can store my flour, cereal, anything that I have in bulk in larger jars. And lately, I've been ordering them from Walmart.com and having them shipped to my house for free. In the summer, these were selling for over $20. I found these on sale on the website for $16, so I had yet another case delivered. Both sizes of canning jars come with a dozen jars, but the half-gallon are so large, there are only 6 in a case. If you are very new to canning or vacuum sealing, you will find that not only do you get the jar, but you get the ring and you get the flat. And those flats you can use over and over again. So it's not that bad of a deal. Don't they look so shiny and clean? Nope. The very first thing you need to do is wash them in hot, soapy water. All 3 parts, the ring, the lid, and the jar. And then the hard part, it needs to be completely dry, not even a drop of moisture. The box they came in, hold on to it. I keep them in my pantry to store my jars in. Oh, interested in canning? Look at this. Most people don't even know it has a complete guide on the bottom of the box. All right, I'm going to go wash all these jars and I'll be right back with you. This is some of the equipment that you need to vacuum seal. The most important one, of course, is your vacuum sealer. The next one is flats, and I store my wide mouth flats in this container in my cupboard because you can use them over and over again until they do not seal. You're also going to need rings. This is a paper towel holder that I got at Dollar Tree. So for $1.25, it holds my rings. I have several of them. You may want to go right out and get a set of these. I have actually seen these in the farm store that I work. So you may be able to find them in stores now instead of ordering it on Amazon. It includes the regular mouth, but mostly what I do is wide mouth. I like having a wide mouth funnel so that when I'm pouring things into my jar, it doesn't go all over the countertop. So you don't need it, but it just makes things a little bit easier. Lastly, you want a good variety of jars and sizes. Many of my jars I have gotten from thrift stores. In fact, this is one of them. The way I know it, right there is where the thrift store had its sticker on it and had another sticker on the bottom. So it is okay. You don't have to get brand new ones. If you are buying from a thrift store, run your finger across the top and make sure it's smooth. Often people will turn in ones that have a chip in it and can't be used anymore. But if that is smooth across the top, you are good to go. Next, you just need to determine what you want to vacuum seal. And I have this snack food that I get from Aldi. Oh my goodness, this stuff is delicious. If you've never had it, give it a good try. But it's expensive. I don't want any of this to get stale. So I am going to vacuum seal this next. And as I have said numerous times, the hardest part about vacuum sealing is determining the size jar that you need. So I am going to try a quart jar. It may be a little bit more than that. First step is to pour it into your jar. Every single dry ingredient that you put in jars, there is going to be a lot of space in there. So the next step is to thump it on your counter, and you will be surprised that this is going to sink down, so I probably can add the rest of that bag. See what I mean? All I did was thump it around, and it moved all of that stuff down. I think I can get this whole bag in there. Unlike canning, you don't really need to worry about the level. It doesn't have to be filled up to the top, so you can actually seal a jar that's only half full or half empty, however you look at it. But you also can fill it much higher. You don't need to have that space at the top like canning. So first up, rub it off so there's no crumbs on the top of that jar. Next, place a flat on top, and obviously this is a used one. You can use them over and over again. And then snap on your jar sealer attachment, just like that. You want to push it down hard. Plug in the port. Now this is my brand new sealer. I have never used it, so this should be interesting. Yep, that's a little harder to push in because it's never been used before. All right, let's give it a go. You're going to turn it on and then hit accessory. And I see this one says dry, and it is dry, so we're okay. Hit accessory. Sounded just the teeniest bit different, but I've been listening to mine for years. Let's pull that off. All right, I heard the air escape. That's a good sign. And then take off the top. Next thing you do is check that seal. You check it by looking for an indent in the center and then pulling on all the sides. And it should be on there secure. This one is definitely sealed. Next, put a ring on it. You want to store all of your items in a dark, cool place with the rings on. And I am going to erase that and put on what's in it. And I said erase because Magic Eraser works really well on removing Sharpie. The date on this package says November 2nd, 2024. So I am going to write November 2025. That's by November 2025, and it is coconut clusters. 1 jar done. Next, I want to show you a powdery item because the process is just a little bit different. You need to put a barrier on there so that the powder is not sucked into your vacuum sealer. So let's vacuum seal some baking mix. Same process, pour it into your jar. This time I'm using a 1/2 gallon. I might have been able to use a quart-sized jar, but it is fine. So it is a little bit over halfway. Now, the next thing I'm going to do, I took a paper towel and I folded it in half, and I am going to push that down over my product. Doesn't need to be neat or anything. You're just putting that barrier in between. Put on your flat. Add the jar accessory. And plug it on in. Because there's more air in between this jar and the top, it's going to take longer. People ask me, how long will it run? It depends on the size of the jar and the contents. This one right here I said would run a little bit longer. It was about 28 seconds. Check the seal. And it is solid. So put on a ring and write on the lid what it is. This box also says to use by November 2024. So I wrote Jiffy Baking Mix November 2025. Oh, I forgot to put BB, which means Best Buy. And there we go with our second jar. Now that you know how to vacuum seal these 2 items, it opens the door to be able to vacuum seal most of the food you have in your kitchen. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Have a blessed day, everybody. Bye-bye.